All right, welcome to One on One once again. This is 89.7 Contact FM, and of course, those who are watching us on C24, that is Contact TV. That's the app that you're using. Plus, of course, a warm welcome to you. And for those who also just wait for us to upload the videos on YouTube, many thanks for spending your 30 minutes to watch the show. We would love to hear from you. So leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the program. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Remember, today we are talking about matters environment, and of course we've put aside just a bit the theme for the week, and that is the Women in Aviation, which continues tomorrow. But today we yet have another lady who's thinking big, thinking beyond just what we see, the surface area, and she's none other than Mariam-Angaza, who's the co-founder of Angaza. Welcome to One on One.
Thank you for having me, Eugene.
Yes, so very interesting. I'm so excited about the program today because I'm sure you're going to be telling us more about this very beautiful bags that we're seeing right here on the program.
Yeah.
You are a co-founder of a company that does upcycling.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Not recycling, but upcycling.
Upcycling, yes.
We'll talk about that,
Yeah.
so you can share more about that. But what you do is you take the PVC or the material used to make the billboards, to make this wallets and bags.
Yes.
So tell us more about this.
So Angaza started in 2012, and I had visited a school called Kigali Parent School, and we were there with the kids, teaching them about environment, climate change, and things like that. And as an activity, we made mosaics using bottle tops from Fantas they collected around the school at home, and they brought them in. So that got me thinking about waste and looking at it in a different light. So after doing some research on the internet, and I found out that advertising banners are being used in other countries to make accessories. And I was like, oh, what's happening to advertising banners here in Kigali? After calling some people and just visiting different places, I found out that they're gathering dust somewhere or just polluting the environment. So we decided to make bags out of them. Yeah.
So the key lesson here is there is no need of struggling to discover something or to create something new.
Yeah.
The thing here is you can reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
You can research what are the other people doing outside of this country that is not happening. So this is the tip that you're giving those who are watching and listening to you right now.
Exactly. There's a saying that goes, there's nothing new under the sun. Of course, there are those who are gifted to actually make something completely new out of nothing. But most of the things that we do these days are built on things that are already existing. So all you need to do is put your mind to work and look at something and see how you can make it a bit different to fit the context in which you're in.
The key thing here for you is the business element as well, because you have invested in what you do together with your partner. But many people say that starting up is just very tough. It's not really possible. First of all, you need the capital. Where will I get this capital? I'm just fresh from school. I'm just fresh from university. I've just left my parents' home. I'm just struggling to settle in my new place where I'm now on my own. So take us through the process of starting up, because you say that you've been there for quite a number of years.
Yeah.
How has it been like? What is the first thing that someone needs to do when they want to start up?
For me, I believe is having a passion, having a passion for something. And if you have a passion for something, you start seeing problems, or as I call them, opportunities around you. And that's it for me. The capital is my brain. I have a passion. I know I want to make a change in this area, and I start with my brain, and I start thinking of ways to start small. Just like to say that we started our business with less than 30,000 Rwandan francs.
Really?
So we had the idea. All we needed to do is garner up. If I started with less than 30,000 francs, I have 5 friends who can give me 5,000 bob, or no, 5,000 francs or 6,000 francs. I have my 30,000, and I made like about 10 items out of it. So for me, money is not an issue. Your brain is enough capital for you.
But others say that that's unrealistic. So I'm saying this is not possible. I need to buy the equipment. I need to pay someone. I need to move. I need a space to work from. So how do you talk to them and make them understand that the capital indeed is just your brain?
Exactly. I mean, you need to look around you. Do you know someone who has a computer? Borrow the computer from them for a couple of hours. If these people are interested in what you're doing, make them co-founders because they were able to give you something. Do you know somebody who has a huge house and they have a room in the house which they're not using? Approach them. It's about looking around you for different resources. You always have somebody and you always have something to give in return. It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be, you know, some shares in the capital. Hey, in five years this thing is going to be big. Would you like some shares then? Then they buy into it. So people are always willing. I had something somewhere, an idea is like a baby, and no one wants their baby to be told that their baby is ugly. So that's the same thing with the ideas we have on our heads. Talk to some people, let them hear from you, and you'll be surprised by the amount of people who are there to help you out.
So the key point again here is looking for relevant people who are able to reason with you.
Exactly.
But then when it comes to returning the favor, you know, in some cases it's become so bad, so bad that some have even got to a point of even not talking to each other because they were not able to fulfill this promise that they made. You know, you say it may not be monetary. You can agree and say, you know what, just give me this, let me start up, but then I'll make you a co-founder, I'll make you a partner. But then when you grow up, things just go differently. I mean, how would you deal with such a situation?
First and foremost, it begins with how you made the relationship with the person or how you approached them. I believe it's better to make a partnership with somebody who understands your vision, who sees how long it will take for you to actually get to where you're going. And this is the kind of person who will be able to compromise when you're not able to meet deadlines or make payments on time. So yeah, have such a relationship with somebody who already understands you and the vision of your dream. I mean, your company. Yes.
Of your company. How then do you deal with the issue of the discipline? You know, because you have involved other people. You have either involved them through direct financing or through their time or their advice. But then you have to now have a discipline that whatever comes in is invested back into the business. And the business grows, that there's profit.
Yeah.
You know, young people start up such things. In the first years, in the first few months, they're very aggressive.
Exactly.
But after a few weeks or months, the discipline disappears.
Yeah.
You find that probably keeping books becomes an issue, expenditures becomes an issue. For you, from your experience, how have you been able to have this discipline of finances and making sure that you reinvest back into the business?
To be honest with you, Eugene, it hasn't been a walk in the park. It's been quite difficult. But if you know where you're going, you invest time in it. So I myself don't have a business background, but I take time to go on the internet. These days, everything is on there. There are online platforms for you to learn about finance and bookkeeping and all that. So you invest time on that and learn about it. If you don't have the time, find somebody who's good at it. It can even be your friend. And that's why we're talking about, that's why what I mean by you don't need a lot of money to start a business. Talk to your friend who's an accountant and help them and let them help you to keep your finances in order. It also helps to have people who are mentors. Look to people who have already walked down the field that you are walking in and have them hold you accountable. So those are some of the things that keep you in line and you know that, hey, somebody somewhere is watching. And yeah, I mean, it just goes back to what you really wanted to achieve in the very beginning. So it's your fault, kind of, if you don't follow up to the latter. But then let's talk about the issue of the youth of today, young people who we've always seen out there, most of them idle in the streets, some of them complaining and saying our governments have neglected us, there are no jobs. And yet you find that there are those who have this creativity in them, those who have this passion for certain things. Exactly.
Do you really think that that they have a clear justification as to why they're jobless in today's world?
I don't. I really don't see the reason as to why they're jobless. I think there are quite a number of us who still have a mentality of not being able to engage with things that are low income earning, and they always want to do the big, something that will bring in the money quickly and big money at that. So someone may not want to go and just mop an office and get something to, to take back home. So for me, it's about, again, looking around you. This is a new restaurant that's opening up. I can cook eggs. Why can't I go and cook eggs for breakfast? Or I can clean dishes. I can actually clean dishes, make use of my hands. I mean, yeah, if your hands are working, if your feet are working, if you can see and hear, there's no reason for you to be sitting on the streets doing nothing.
And saying that there are no jobs.
Yes. Yeah.
So moving forward then, I'm sure by now you can describe yourself, or you would probably proudly describe yourself as an environmentalist.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So looking around today, when you see the things that are happening, because most of the times we have said that Rwanda is a clean country.
Yeah.
We've had laws keeping away non-biodegradable paper bags.
Yes.
And all that. Where do you see such national events or international events like World Environment Day? Do you feel that they're really relevant today? Because some people have said, these are just days that today are just occurrences on our calendars that we have just to go listen to speeches. After it's done, it's back to business as usual.
Okay.
When, as an environmentalist, when you see such activities, when you see such international events, do you see their importance? In what way do you see that also?
I definitely see an importance in such events, because we as human beings tend to forget very quickly. So there's no better way for me to be reminded about something if it's always on my face. But that does not mean in an irritative way. So for me, I believe, like, for example, World Environment Day is a time for me, yes, to show people where we are, what the state of the environment is in the world, and the young people who are coming up, whose future, who are looking on to the future and thinking of all the possibilities, know where they stand and the things that they can do to make sure that their children's children will have a place, like a place to call home, like Earth, So the state of the environment is really changing hard, what with climate change and global warming, and things are really changing rapidly, but we also want to develop at the same time. Countries want to develop, and for that to happen, they're clearing out masses of trees to build cities, and the population is also increasing, and we are putting a strain on natural resources. So
there's need for a constant reminder.
Need for them to really know what's happening.
But are the young people interested?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think they're interested? Do you think this is what would make them feel like, oh, they're talking about the ozone layer?
Ozone layer. They should be interested. I don't feel like so many of them are interested and passionate about it and want to do something about it, but they should, if they understand that the future depends on it. I think the problem is that there are too many scientific terms that are being put out there that it seems like rocket science for me to have to understand what climate change is, and yet it can be put in simpler terms which people can understand, and practical measures can be put in place for people to engage and say, okay, this is happening, and this is what I can do to prevent it from happening or reduce the effects of it. Yeah.
Now, when we go back to the products that you are making, I mean, there's the element of people saying that or having an interest in whatever you're creating. Let's talk about that. I mean, how have you been able to pull this attraction towards people buying these particular products? Is there any secret? Is there anything that you're doing that you feel has been working for you, that you want to share with someone out there who has a similar or almost similar project, that they want to know that these are the to-dos and the not-dos or don't-dos?
Again, I'll start with another quote that I like. Don't worry so much about people copying your products or what you're doing, but worry about the design, work on the design.
They'll still copy it.
So no,
They'll still copy the design.
Oh, my friend, you'll be ahead, and the more they continue doing that, the more they'll be seen as copycats. So keep innovating. That's what I'd say. I mean, again, nothing is new under the sun, but you have to have a mind that sees things differently and look for tweaks, things to change and improve on. For us, what has worked is that this is the first time such a product is in the Rwandan market, and people are conscious about what they're buying these days. I want to buy a product that's not polluting the environment. I want to buy a product that is not depleting natural resources. So that's been a major selling point for us. It is our major selling point. So it resonates with people, and no two of our products look the same. So each and every one of our products is unique. So, you know, if you want to look different, we have it for you. If you want to save the environment, we have it for you. Yeah.
How did you put up your resources? I mean, because I'm sure this is not just you doing this. I'm sure you have a team behind you. You have a team that you work with to put together these particular products. I mean, how do you manage to cope with that? And how do you even do that?
So it was a bit challenging, again, selling your vision to people and showing them this is what I want to do. But immediately we got some few people on board. So Eugene, I'm just reminding you about starting small. We are not yet that big, so I just have, we're like 4 in total in the company.
It's a team of 4.
Yeah, it's a team of 4. So we have a tailor who's in charge of production. I do the design, and my partner does marketing, and we are training another tailor at the moment. So it was not easy finding, for example, a tailor who wants to work with this type of material, because it's something totally new, and also training them to appreciate quality was not such an easy task. So yeah, that's how we've been able to come up to where we are right now. We've made so many mistakes, but because of talking to people and asking them about their views, it has helped us channel ourselves in the right path. Okay. Yeah, so getting feedback is really important.
It's important. Yeah. Mostly because you get to understand what they like or what they don't like about your product. Exactly. There's the issue of branding yourself. There's the issue of also making people aware, creating awareness around what you do. I've seen this. It's a very big mistake that most people do. They have very good things they do, or even in their own personalities, but they do not brand themselves. It's really hard even to get in touch with them. And for you, I see you even go to the extent of putting a tag. I've seen this in most of your products. Yeah. I mean, how has this also been effective for you?
Oh, branding is so important whether you have products or not, because that's how you want how people will get to know about you. That's how your message is going to be communicated to people. So we use social media platforms. Again, they're for free, so I don't have to spend much money on marketing. That product, for example, that you're holding has the tag in it. Maybe somebody may buy it from the US, and they may forget about my face, but they'll have the name Angaza on their products, and maybe a friend will ask, where did you get that? They go on Google, oh, I don't remember Angaza, and they're like, oh, Rwanda, Kigali. Next time the friend is in Kigali, they buy something. So branding increases your visibility, and in this day and age, if you're not branding or getting yourself out there, I sincerely don't know what you're doing.
I'll take you back to the point you made earlier on concerning the discovery of this biodegradable material, or that had been lying, non-biodegradable material that had been lying somewhere in a store after the purpose for it was done and it was pulled down from being a billboard. Yeah. Someone might argue and say it was even safer being there in that store, right? Than being everywhere. Now the Angaza team is spreading it everywhere. And they have no authority, no power of following up on how I will deal with this once it's torn, once I'm done with it. Do you ever get such thoughts in your mind and like think of how to next tackle that particular challenge?
Of course, I mean, vinyl, the material which most billboards are made of, is a plastic that can spend thousands and thousands of years because it's non-biodegradable, and if recycling is attempted, it produces toxins. So what we are doing is actually diverting this waste, for example, from landfills or other places where it's not supposed to be. So I'm actually even giving it a second life, and that's the concept of upcycling. Then it's not lying as waste, but it's generating income, it's supporting livelihoods, and it's making you look good. So for me, that's how I see it. I don't see it as polluting the environment again. In addition to that, we are trying to get corporate companies, you know, if you get this billboard from a telecom company per se, and somebody's walking around with it, that's increasing, you know, the brand longevity of that company. So it's also, you know, advertising the companies as well. Yeah.
Is this thing paying off? I mean, do you ever sit back and say, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, but this tunnel just seems to be too long? I mean, but you feel like you've already put in enough, I mean, a lot, that you still just feel like you don't want to give up. I mean, do you see this as something that you can say in the next 3-4 years, this is one big brand that is going to make a change in this country or even beyond in terms of being change makers in preserving the environment?
Oh yeah, definitely, Eugene. If anything, that's where the world is going right now. There's talk about the green economy, you know, looking at the environment in a way that you can make money from it, but at the same time preserve it and conserve it at that. So for us, it's not only about the bags. Angaza has a bigger vision of being an environmental solutions company and just helping people to understand, first of all, about the environment. We'd like to continue.
How will you do that?
We'd like to continue going to schools and teaching kids about environment, again, in a non-rocket sciencey way, and engaging them in activities.
I'm trying to say those who are doing it are doing it in a rocket science way?
I mean, almost every type of literature that I bump into concerning climate change has so many, you know, a lot of jargon, and I don't think this is something the kids can understand. This is where the future is. It lies in the hands of these kids. If they grow up understanding the environment, then I can only imagine a better Rwanda or a better world in the future. So those are the things we want to do. The population of Kigali is doubling by 2020. That means problems with waste management, water supply, and things like that. We want to be able to bring such solutions and engage communities in bringing such changes. If it's Umuganda, and we are building, yes, a water channel. Bring the community members together and show them, you know, why this is happening, why this area is flooding, is because you don't have a drainage channel. Let's do this together. You know, simple solutions
make big impact.
Yes,
are you already doing this?
I believe we are.
Right?
I believe we are. I mean, with regards to the schools, or
with regards to your future plans that you just said, the creation of awareness, and of course assessing yourselves and determining yourselves as change makers.
Exactly.
Do you think you're already doing this?
Small steps matter, Eugene, and this is us starting small, and that's our vision. What I've told you, what the rest that I've told you, that's our vision for the next 5 years, let's say. So we've started small by showing people that waste can be made into something of value, and next, who knows, the drainage channels, erosion control, environmental awareness in schools. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the jargon part, and this really interests me, because at the end of the day, something has to be done to help protect the environment, because it might not belong to us today. It's for the future generations.
Definitely.
And someone has to do something about it. At least you have said you are playing a role in there. What else do you think that we are doing wrong? Probably as governments, as bigger institutions that are solely in charge of looking at issues of environment. What are those things that you sit back and say, now, why did they do that? Why did they make this policy? Why did they go this direction instead of going this side? What advice would you say as you mentioned those issues?
I think where the world is right now, we have enough resources, we have enough information at our fingertips to come up with cleaner technologies, for example, solar, wind, and other types. But I think the biggest players and the biggest contributors to climate change are not making the step forward to make any change at that, and leaving smaller, less developed countries and continents like Africa to suffer the consequences. So I think the challenge lies with them in changing policies, industries, the way they power them, vehicles, the way they manufacture them, and make them less polluting, make them more energy efficient. I think those are the things that would actually make a change. So it lies with them at the end of the day. And we keep pushing, but they're making really small steps.
One step at a time. But you're not happy about those?
No. I think,
steps being made.
I just have to say this, they're putting billions and billions in research in space and things like that. I mean, that's important, but I'd care more about what's happening here on Earth, you know, before investing billions and billions in what's happening out of space. So the money is there, definitely. The technology, we have come so far technology-wise that we can invest in things that would, you know,
change the situation at the moment.
Exactly.
Now, the Do School Seeds, powered by the Do School. You've told me that you were part of this particular course, program, project?
Yeah, it's a fellowship.
It's a fellowship.
Yes.
Tell us about it as we close.
So the Do School is a German institute which offers one-year fellowships to social entrepreneurs around the world. I was fortunate to be chosen for their fellowship in New York last year, time like this exactly. So I'm graduating at the end of this month. With that, I was able to learn more about entrepreneurship, learn more about how I can make an impact with my venture, which is making these bags out of waste, and you know, learn about how social problems can become social opportunities.
Right.
So yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, Maria, you're smart.
Thank you.
You are going places.
Thank you.
And all I wish for is that you definitely use whatever you've learned from this particular fellowship to impact the rest. You know, pass on the information, pass on the knowledge, pass on the wisdom.
I will.
Because it's only important when it doesn't just stay with you alone.
Definitely.
All right?
Yeah.
So good luck to the Angaza team. Very nice wallets over there, plus of course other products that you're doing. We wish you all the best.
Thank you so much.
All right?
Yes.
On behalf of the team right here, thank you so much for coming to
Thank you for having me.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. There you have it. Mariam-Angaza. She is the co-founder of Angaza, which means shine it, you know, make it brighter. Illuminate it.
Yeah.
Right? We're hoping that definitely the light from Angaza is going to shine on the world, and of course in Rwanda specifically, and maintain issues of keeping and safeguarding our environment. From me, right here in our studios, I want to say thank you so much for watching and listening to One on One. I'm Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye. Great stuff coming up right here. So stay with us. Goodbye.